What's up, guys? I thought I would come on and give my thoughts on last night's Europa League quarter-final second leg. United Lyon 5-4, 7-6 on aggregate. What a game! Like it was so. It's one of those games where you really see just how much of a roller coaster European nights can actually be, and obviously, I mean, is it the greatest comeback? I don't know. I honestly don't know if it is. I would say it's one of them. It's one of the greatest comebacks we've seen. And that, but I don't think it's the greatest. It does to show how 1 minute you can, be in absolute despair. You can be absolutely furious. You can be, you can be absolutely livid. And then all of a sudden, within just mere minutes, that can all change. And you can suddenly be absolutely delighted, jumping up jumping in the air in true, in true celebration. It's like we were 4-2 down in extra time, and the fact that we managed to score 3 goals and turn that around was absolutely huge. I mean, is it the best performance we've seen this season? Probably. I would probably say it's the best performance we've seen this season, but obviously our unbeaten run goes on. Obviously, our attention now turns obviously to Athletic Bilbao, in the semi-finals, who could be and that's it. Bilbao could be a lot tougher than Lyon. I do think, because obviously some of the players that they have, obviously they've got the Williams brothers in Archie and Neto. They've got a nice morning goal. He did. I think he was one of the best players. I think was he Spain's first choice goalkeeper at the Euros last year. I think he wasn't he? A nice Simon. I mean, obviously, looking at that, I mean, Rangers, I don't think would have been an easy game, but I think it would have been a lot easier than, obviously, Athletic Bilbao. I mean, Tottenham, I think, got a bit of a tough game. Bodo Glimt. I mean, the thing is with Bodo Glimt, they've shown they're not a team to be underestimated, or to be underrated. You know, they've shown they're not a team to be slept on. You sleep on better. You underestimate. Bodo Glimt, and you could be making a big mistake. I mean, the fact that Bodo have actually made it all the way to the Europa League semi-finals is huge for them. You know, and you can't say that Bodo Glimt don't deserve to be in the semi-finals, because they absolutely do. I mean, imagine if Bodo Glimt actually somehow managed to go all the way and win the Europa League this season. That would absolutely be huge. I mean, United still in with a chance of winning it. I mean, the reason why I'm so desperate for United to win the Europa League this season is, it would give it, it would salvage something. You know, it would be nice to be able to salvage something from what has been a horror show of a season. I think if we win, and the thing is, winning the Europa League is our only way of actually getting back into the Champions League next season, and we all know that. I mean, obviously, more the fact it would be our first European trophy in 8 years. Obviously, the last time we won the Europa League was in 2017, and we haven't quite come close enough to achieving that again. The closest we came was when we got to the final in 2021. We lost the final to Villarreal on penalties. That it was funny enough, it was David De Gea that missed the crucial spot kick that night, which lost us the final. We did reach the quarterfinals the season before last, but were knocked out by Sevilla. Last season, obviously, we were in the Champions League and we got knocked out at group stages. In the Champions League, but obviously that's how bad we did. We didn't even drop down into the Europa League. We were just knocked out altogether. So we finished bottom of the group. And then obviously this season we've got another chance to win the Europa League if we can get past Bilbao. We'll be playing one of Bodo Glimt or Spurs in the final. and I imagine it would most likely, if anything, be Spurs that we play in the final. I mean, I wouldn't mind it being another All English final. It was obviously the last time we had that we had an All English final was back in 2019. In with obviously Arsenal and Chelsea played in the final. So I mean, it would be nice to try and get some revenge on Tottenham for the fact they've already beaten us 3 times this season. Obviously twice in the league and once in the Carabao Cup. Now, obviously the Europa League final would be an absolutely huge opportunity for us to exact some revenge on them. But will they get past Bodo Glimt? I really don't know. I'm not going to say Tottenham don't stand a chance, because I think you never really can say a team doesn't stand a chance. I think a lot of people in the Champions League, a lot of people said Arsenal never stood. A lot of people would have said Arsenal didn't stand a chance of beating Real Madrid. Look what's happened. You know, they have beaten Real Madrid across 2 legs in the quarterfinals. And there was probably a lot of people that said they weren't going to do that. There was probably a lot of people that said Real Madrid were going to absolutely batter them, and they didn't. You know, I mean, it's like the finish with United. I'm not going to start. I'm not say, yeah, I think we're definitely going to win the Europa League this year. I think we're going to get past Athletic Bilbao, and it's going to be easy. Because that would be an absolutely, that would probably be the dumbest thing to say. Oh, I mean, I would probably make myself look like a complete and utter fool if I said it was going to be an easy win for us tomorrow, an easy win in the semi-finals. Because it's not going to be that easy. I think, as United fans, we all know that it's not going to be an easy win for us tomorrow. Obviously, an easy win for us, in the semi-finals against Athletic Bilbao. It's a decent team. We're gonna need to be very cautious going into that game, and we're gonna need to play really, really well. Um, I mean, obviously we did shoot. I knew there was going to be a twist in the tail last night. At 2-0 up. I knew something was going to happen. And as soon as it went to 2-1, I thought that's it. They'll get an equaliser. And the fact that even though they went down to 10 men, they were still able to go 4-2 up. It's just mad. 4-2 up with 10 men, you can't stop us. It's like. I was sitting there and I was just thinking, that's it, we're out. I think that's how we all felt. We were all like, oh, that's it. We're out, we stand no chance. But we showed, the finish with when it comes to like matches, especially big games in Europa League, Champions League. The saying is, it's not over till it's over. And how we avoided penalties. Our lot of penalties is not great. I mean, I think the thing is, I think with the dodge of penalties, I think we definitely would have lost on penalties, without a doubt. I don't think we would have won on penalties, which is why I'm glad we managed to avoid that. We somehow managed to turn things round in extra time. Like, how the fuck we did that, I do not know. Like, I'm still speechless at the fact that we managed to turn that around, the fact that we were 4-2 down and we've managed to turn that around and win 5-4. When was the last time we saw United manage to come back like that? That is absolutely huge. And it's the big man, Harry Maguire, who has stepped up and saved us again. That man, I think he certainly proved his critics wrong recently. I mean, the last few months he has come up with some big goals for us. I mean, obviously the goal in the FA Cup against Leicester, which obviously, if there had been VAR in that game, you wouldn't have got that goal. He would have been ruled out for offside. But he has come up with big goals for us this season. He's been for us the last few months. He has been pretty decent for us. I don't think Harry Maguire has actually been awful for us. I think he's actually been okay. He's not been terrible for the most part. Anana made some okay saves, I guess. I mean, obviously, wasn't one of his best nights when it comes in the best performances in a United shirt. And still not enough to convince me that he belongs at United. I'm still not. I don't think I'll ever be really. I don't. To be honest, when it comes to Andre Onana, I don't think I'll ever really be fully convinced that he does belong at United. I think I don't think there's anything that will ever convince me that he deserves to be a United player. It has to be said. I mean, it's sad, but that's how I feel. certain I mean, Hobie Manu, I'm so glad we brought Hobie Manu on. He was the man that obviously scored one of the goals in extra time. Bruno scores that penalty. Funny how it was the former Arsenal player that was actually causing us a lot of problems last night, and it's under flipping Lacazette. I bet Nemanja Matic was fucking, so pissed off at the end of extra time last night. He was probably thinking, what the fuck have I just witnessed? My team has gone from being 4-2 up to being 5-4 down. I mean, the Leon fans must be thinking, what the fuck, and how did that happen? I mean, the Leon fans must be thinking, how did we lose that? We were 4-2 up. The reality of it is, Leon shouldn't have lost that. They were 4-2 up. They should have been winning. They should have been home and dry. That should have been it. We should have been out of the competition. We should have been out. We should have been, we should have been sat, we should have been here, I should have been sat here now, absolutely fuming over the fact that we've gone out of the Europa League in the quarterfinals, and basically talking about the fact that we weren't going to be playing in Europe this season. We might still not be playing in Europe in next season. We just don't know. We just have to win Europa League. That is our only option. I mean, obviously, if we didn't get European football next season, the only thing that we'd really be able, really, have a chance to go for next season would be FA Cup and how about up. Because we wouldn't be good enough to challenge for the league title. We wouldn't be in Europe. So the only two trophies to go for would be FA Cup and Europa League. FA Cup and how about up. I think this season, I think this one, this result, I think we can be, as United fans, we can be happy about it, and we can take a lot of positives from this result, and we can be very happy about this result. And obviously, our attention's now turned to the weekend, and obviously the game of the weekend. Hopefully we can get something in that. Try to forget about the fact that we lost 4-1 to Newcastle on Sunday, which was obviously an absolutely disgusting result we should never have picked up. But, what a result. What a huge night that was. We've shown that it's not over until the fat lady sins, as they say. It's never over until it's over. Huge respect to those players for how hard they fought to get through those 2 legs. We made it very difficult for ourselves, but we still did it. We still got through. We avoided penalties, which is what I'm glad about. I'm happy with the result. I'm happy with that result. I think we all are as United fans. I think we're all relieved, that we've made it to the semi-finals somehow. I think it's just amazing to see that performance last night, to see us turn that around, to go from being on the brink of an exit in quarter-final exit to now being in one of 4 teams that are in the semi-finals this season. To be honest, a few months ago, I wasn't that confident we'd even be in the semi-finals. That's not me being harsh. That's me being true. I honestly didn't think we'd make it this far. I didn't think we'd get to the Europa League semi-finals. I thought we would be out before then. I didn't even think we'd get to the quarter-finals, but we did. I didn't think we would get to the semi-finals, but we have. I guess I've been proven wrong, a few times this season. Not just by United, but by other teams. There's other teams that have proven me wrong big time this season. Who said that, I never stood a chance, but they've shown they have. They've shown they do stand a chance. But yeah, what a performance last night. Very happy with it. So I thought I'd give my thoughts on that. Hopefully I will see you for another video very soon. Bye bye.